One of the things that most inspires me is something that people would say is really simple, but it's simply, especially during this time with COVID and what have you, we're on a mask. When something happens that you've been a part of, and the result of that, you see the smile in someone's eyes, and you hear the comfort in their voice, that's inspirational to me, because then you know you've really made an impact. Then you know that you've touched your fellow person in a way that needed to happen for that person, perhaps that day or even for more than that day. But you made an impact, and to me that's inspirational. That is a paycheck in itself. That's inspirational. When I think about people and everything we do, it comes around to people, if you think about it. And the old expression of when you meet someone else, you know, your goal in life should be to leave them better than you found them. So for me, the goal is to make sure that whoever I encounter that day, whether it's just a smile in my voice, is to make something positive for them that day. It can be something as simple as when you see someone in the grocery store and you greet them with a warm hello or have a good day. I think about some activities I've been involved in lately, just greeting people and having, again, that smile in your eyes for that person, that comfort in your voice. That makes an impact for people on a daily basis. There are certain causes in our community right now, and when I say our community, it's worldwide, but it's also local. And I think about some of the causes, and they fit certain categories. Social justice is an obvious one that we talk about. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is another cause. A cause for me that I personally deal with at least 3 days a week at the food cupboard is food insecurity. I think about the organizations that I've been fortunate to work with. I think about the Chester County Hospital, how we've made an impact with the community regarding vaccinations for minority groups, for people that may be underserved in certain locations. I think about the Westchester Food Cupboard, and I think about the individuals that through all walks of life have come through the food cupboard, and through no fault of their own, have found themselves in a situation where they need to come to the food cupboard. You know, I think about United Way, where I also volunteer, and in United Way, I think about the impact we've made specifically during the COVID situation, and how we help secure funding and help provide grants for organizations to do the things they need to do to keep the community safe. When you think about current day stuff, COVID vaccinations, when you think of individuals that don't understand, don't have access to, don't have the ability to get to a clinic to get a vaccination, they have some fear factors in place because of historical concerns from minority communities regarding vaccinations in the medical community. You think about how can you make an impact on those things. It starts with dialogue. It starts with having meaningful, specific dialogue with individuals that are going through those concerns and letting them know that, yes, I do want to help you. I want to understand your situation, and together, let's come up with a solution so that we all accomplish the positive impact of these things. I think about the Westchester Food Cupboard. I understand the plight of a person that's food insecure, because at one point in my time when I was younger, our family needed the assistance of the federal government for basic needs such as food. So I understand. Now, by me understanding what happened back then in my youth, I also understand how people were treated at that point in time. And so one of my goals when I work with a person at a food cupboard or regarding food insecurity issues, I keep in mind how I felt, how my mom felt when people may have disrespected you because you were down on your luck. And I assure people that under my support, you will be treated with dignity and respect. And my goal is for every person that comes in and needs some assistance, they walk out with their head high because they understand that we care about you and this situation will not last always. You know, I discovered the Community Foundation, I'm going to say almost by accident, and I'm glad it happened. but as I mentioned, I am a volunteer and a board member at the United Way. And one of our board meetings, we were having a conversation about the Community Foundation, and the website was shared that this is an organization that addresses community issues. And there's a substantial specific dialogue on the concerns and some brainstorming to help determine what can some of the solutions be. And so I took the opportunity to dial into one of the webinars, one of the conference calls. I was delighted with what I found. I found some people from all walks of life that are addressing everyday issues in our community. And they're looking for solutions, looking for different ideas. And everyone's welcome to share with their thoughts. That was my introduction to the Community Foundation, which is why I'm a fan of the Community Foundation, because they're taking on everyday, right now issues and having dialogue to determine what can be done to address these concerns. You know, when I think about community accomplishments, there are two things that come to mind. And once again, I'm talking current times. And I think that's significant to talk about what's happening now. But two things that I've had the fortune to be involved in has been the vaccination process for underserved communities and also food insecurity issues. Both brought on because of COVID. And I think about how we've been able to reach out to communities and share the message of vaccinations and share the importance of vaccinations, share the development of vaccinations so that people really understand what the vaccination is all about. When I think about food insecurity issues, I think about people that, again, were embarrassed, were shy, were apprehensive again about coming to secure food for their families because no one wants to admit that they're down on their luck. That's just human dignity. And we make sure we keep that human dignity intact. And they leave there with an abundance of food to go back and share with their families to say, this is one less thing I have to worry about. And one of the messages we always tell them when they leave there is that hopefully you've had a great experience here. Hopefully we've made an impact. We've done some things positive for you and your family. If you know someone else that needs help, please send them to us. When you see the direct impact, I mean, I worked in corporate America 38 years. And you go through the process, you do reports, you put processes in place, what have you. But you don't always see the immediate impact. When things are happening now, you see the immediate impact. When the guy came in and he was apologetic, he says to me, he says, I shouldn't be here. He said, I've done everything the way it's supposed to be. He says, but I lost my job because of COVID. And he and I had a great conversation. And it became a cheerful conversation. Go back to your family, enjoy what you have today, and come back and see us. And come back and see us as often as you need to. That same guy got hired and came back. He says, my last time coming because I got a job. He says, but know this. He says, I'm going to make a contribution to you guys each time I get a paycheck because I know what you did for me and my family. Dialogue is so important, specific, meaningful dialogue. If you're talking about social justice, it's important to hear the other person's point of view. It's important to share your point of view in a respectful way, to have that dialogue again. If you're talking to a person that has end-stage renal disease, and as I felt when it happened to me, my world just collapsed for no reason at all, it just collapsed. It was important for me when someone had specific dialogue with me to talk about what this means and how I can overcome this, how I can survive this process, how I can thrive with this process.